Good morning and happy Friday for another another session of Through the Lens of Love devotional. It's snowing here in South Dakota, so I hope wherever you are staying warm today. And the verse and the message that God called me to share today has just been kind of a theme throughout this week in my coaching calls and my coaching work. And on a call, and I've shared this in my story. I've shared this also in my Womenpreneur Success community on Facebook. So if you aren't in there, please join us to help yourself activate. It's a beautiful way to do that. Just like I teach here, just choosing those small little thoughts, those small little actions to help you shift. Because we will all have thoughts that make us feel yucky and life is hard sometimes. And so what came up this week is the concept of choices, right? As a coach, I firmly believe that we all have choices. And there are many of us who have gone through very traumatic, very hard things where it felt in that moment like we didn't have a choice. And I want to add some light on that because there are times in my life where I felt like I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. Even if I wanted to like shift my thought in that moment, I was too weak or I wasn't able to like see anything else, right? I was blinded by what was happening in front of me. And so I just want to offer some hope to those of you who maybe have ever said, or maybe like when you hear people say like, well, you always have a choice and you're just like, bleh, pukey, like delete this person. And I've had people delete me and that's okay. I've had people like unfriend me and that's okay. And there are times, again, where I just kind of want to wallow in my pity party or I can't see the other side. I can't see the silver lining. And I used to get so mad at my husband for this. He was like always happy and jovial and excited in the morning. And I was like, oh, I just want to put the pillow over your face and just be like, just go back to bed. Leave me alone. I don't want to get up. I don't want to. I was just in a bad spot in my life. And we've all been there sometimes. And so many of us can say, I don't have a choice. But the truth is, when we're not aware of our thoughts and emotions, our habits make the choice for us. So that's when we react, when we repeat, and then we wonder, how did we end up here again? Have you ever done that where you're like, I am done doing this. You're really motivated. You're really excited. And then it happens again and you do it again. And you're like, I told myself I wasn't going to do that. The magic is in the pause and the magic is in what we decide to choose. And that takes work. That's a process. That isn't a place where we land and it's like, done. I've done all the work. I never have to be aware of my thoughts and my emotions again. We get to constantly, consistently do this, which is what is most powerful in the shift that we're making in this world and in our lives and how we live in our lives, right? No matter what you have in your life, if you're not happy, if your soul is depleted, it's not going to feel good, right? And so I just want to remind you that it's okay to like have that thought to feel like I don't have a choice because it feels really heavy. And what's happening then is your habits are taking over. And most of the time, they're habits that are unhelpful for you, right? Again, where we react or where we repeat something that we don't really want to do. So when we can be so intentional with feeling, and a lot of us don't want to feel, right? Especially high achieving women, women who are very stoic, women who are like, I have to like make sure that this looks really good, like they're in a man's world. They're like, well, I can't react right now. I can't be emotional right now. So they shove it down. And then actually when they shove it down, then that's when they react and maybe repeat things that they didn't want to do or say. And so number one is just becoming aware of your emotion. But the simplest shift isn't, overthinking all of this and being like, oh, I got to stop. And how do I feel? And what's my thought, right? Because that can feel exhausting when we're first starting this. But what can happen is the simplest shift isn't overthinking, it's choosing God. So if you're in this place where you're like, I don't have a choice, I encourage you that first just start and choose God. Just be intentional and choose God. And when God was speaking to me based on what I should share today and speaking that truth into me, I was reminded of the WWJD bracelets. Remember those? And they probably still make them, but like, what would Jesus do? And he would, right? Like we choose God, not because, those bracelets were trendy, but because they helped us pause. They helped us say like, oh, what would happen in this moment? And so a verse I want to share with you today is from Deuteronomy 30, verse 19, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have set before you life and death, right? None of us are making it out of this world alive, right? And so he sets before us life and death, blessings and curses, right? He doesn't promise that there won't be hardship, right? He had a lot of hardship in this life. He had a lot of people questioning him. He had a lot of people doubting him. Blessings and curses. Choose life so that you and your descendants may live. And so again, that choice, like he just says, choose life, right? I'm giving you all of these things. Choose life, choose me. And so that's why when we're really in a state of like, we're not yet to the spot, or we're still working on like, what are my thoughts and what are my emotions? If we can just say like, oh, I choose God. I choose this life that he gave me. And having that softer transition than like trying to fix yourself. And here's the deal. You're not broken. You don't have to fix yourself. There's nothing. You get to just continue to be aware and up level your thoughts. It's a process. It is never something that's done one and done. So I'd love to just share with you a prayer to support you in choosing life, in choosing God. So Lord, just help us pause before we react. Help us pause before we repeat something that isn't of us, that isn't of you. Lord, just be with us and give us strength to choose you when we feel like we don't have a choice, to choose you. And we know in that choice that you will lead us to our own thoughts, to thoughts that are in and of your glory, that will lead us higher and higher towards you, towards heaven. Amen. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. I appreciate you so much. And I just encourage you to see yourself through the lens of love. I'm looking for my heart glasses, right? So I've got my heart glasses. So God sees us through this beautiful lens of love. And I encourage you to see yourself in and through that. So I love you so much. Choose God. If you feel like your choices, or you don't have a choice, or you're feeling stuck, just turn to him and just see what happens. And also know that I'm here for you. I love you so much. Talk to you soon.